According to a recent national health survey, about 1/3 of U.S. adults are obese. And that means companies are spending big bucks on employee health care expenses. But one startup called Keas is hoping to cut those costs and improve employee health habits by harnessing the popularity of social games. Our Bloomberg West editor-at-large, Cory Johnson, sat down with the former head of Google Health and Keas co-founder Adam Bosworth to find out what inspired the company to make being healthy fun.
The initial idea was we wanted people to have better health habits. We have a $2.4 trillion a year bill. It's going to $3.6 trillion a year for health care.
It's the cost of sick employees, basically.
It's the cost of people being unhealthy in this country. And about half of that is attributable to lifestyle. So,
but we all know this. We all know that America's obesity is an epidemic. We all know about, the problems people have with crummy food and lousy exercise plans. But what was your product before? And what is it now?
So before, it was, if you will, a mint.com for health. It gave you advice, reminders, color-coded charts, and content, and said basically, here's what you need to know, here's what you need to do. Nobody did it. It was a downer. They were depressed by the fact they were way overweight, that their blood pressure was too high, and they left.
So basically, you're saying is the only people who want to see their health information is people who already have good health.
Exactly. If you've got great health, you love to log things like your blood pressure and your how many miles you ran. If you're the normal person in this country, 2/3 of us are overweight or really overweight, you don't. And so, those are the folks we wanted to reach. And the big change was we made a game. We stopped giving you advice. We stopped preaching. We stopped lecturing. We gave you a fun game where if you happen to do the things you needed to do to be healthier, you won.
And so this is offered as an employee benefit. So a company will offer this to their employees, saying, play this game, it'll make you healthy.
Right, exactly.
And there's a team element to it as well.
The team element's key. What happens is you join the game and you look for 5 coworkers. You team up with them. You can't team with more than 5. And you play as a unit. The total team score is the score of every one of the members. And if one person slacks, the other 5 might be able to cover for that person. If 2 slack, no way. So you really depend on each other.
So why would a company spend? I understand this sort of notion of a better, healthier workforce over time might be good, but in this era when people are really pulling back, companies are pulling back from spending, do you think they're going to pay up for this?
Well, they're paying up. If you think about it, it's the cost of a picnic per person, and they get an annual program. At the very least, they're as happy as they would be if they went to a picnic. They're having a ball for a year, working with each other on a communal thing they all care about. I want to have fun and learn to be healthy. They're more productive because they're fitter, they're actually running, they're working out more, they're eating better. And then on top of that, the biggest single expense companies have, and the one that's most out of control, is employee health care. What is it? Starbucks spends more on health care than coffee. And so fundamentally, it's a triple win.
Does the fact that the employees enter this as a game sort of make it shareable and legal to share?
Well, first, it is legal. It's legal anytime you have your own data. But secondly, we don't actually track any data that would be an issue anyway. This is a game. You're tracking how many miles you chose to walk this week, or how many times you did yoga, or how many times you ate off of small plates, or how many times you had 5 fruits and vegetables a day during the week. You're taking quizzes. There's nothing here that in some sense is personal health data. This is how are you doing on a game. And
so let's talk money here. How much money are you making with this thus far? Is it profitable? How are you raising money? How do you sort of give us an evaluation of why this matters?
So we're too young to be profitable. We really just rolled this thing out as a final product in September. We put 60,000 people online between September 1st and October 1st. We're up to about 20 companies, should be doubling that in Q1. But we just raised $6.5 million. Which will give us plenty of money to last the next 2 years, probably a lot longer than that.
$6.5 million.
Yeah,
that's some real money.
Yeah.
Now you ran Google Health, yes?
Yes, I did. I started and ran it.
So, what was the how should I phrase it? The biggest screw up at Google Health you didn't want to repeat?
The biggest screw up I didn't want to repeat at Google Health was essentially, well, there were 2. Number one, not correctly estimating the complete reluctance of the current healthcare system to share data. The current healthcare system not only has no incentive to share data with their patients, they have a disincentive. If patients had a good knowledge of how to stay healthy, and they do, they're going to be at the doctor's office less, and they're going to get less money. The second one was, at the end of the day, psychologically it was flawed. The people who I was trying to help don't want that data, because that data simply reminds. So people used to stare at the stock market all the time in 1999. Remember that? They would live every day looking at the trades.
Yeah,
By 2001, they were not obsessed staring at their Bloomberg terminal unless they were unusual, because at the end of the day, this was not a good time. In some sense, America is in the 2001 of healthcare. We're sitting here looking at everyone getting heavier, sicker, and you really don't want to stare at that number.
That was Keas co-founder Adam Bosworth speaking with our editor-at-large, Cory Johnson.